Good morning, everyone. This is Lori with 3 Keys Astrology, and welcome to part 2 of the analysis of the Black Moon Lilith that lives inside of Jada Pinkett Smith. To recap, and if you've missed it, there's a part 1. You can find that video on my channel, 3keysastrology.com, as well as astrologicalwithlori.com on YouTube. Both, are on YouTube. So if you're new to this topic, on Astrological's channel on YouTube, we did an astrology marathon for 2022 where I broke down what her energy was going to be like this year. It is, as a matter of fact, April 15th, 2022, and today, Black Moon Lilith moved into Cancer. That's dangerous. It's an energy that's a vortex of ineptitude and emptiness. And that energy is going to infiltrate families and home and property, land. It's going to cause a lot of discourse in marriages. It's going to usurp the union and marital bond when two people have children and make a family and are in legacy. So I'm encouraging you to stay vigilant and protect your families at all costs. Make sure that you're only sharing the energy with people that are loving, kind, and of the same moral aptitude that you are. Above all else, we need to protect women, children, our homes, and our families this year. So to recap the video that I did for you yesterday, we're going to revisit how Black Moon Lilith has manifested and taken over the life of Jada Pinkett Smith and especially her family. So there's maniacal tendencies all over the place, signatures of psychopathy and narcissism. Black Moon Lilith in her chart is in Libra. And Libras, if you know them, you can't help but love them. Libra is a sign of commitment. Saturn is exalted in Libra, and that's the highest commitment. Libras are people that do not feel whole unless they're in relationships. They like to be married. They don't have any trouble making commitments. There's an honesty and beauty in Libra energy because it's Venus ruled, and Venus wants everyone in her company to do well, to feel well, to be promoted, to be acknowledged, to be supported. And in this case, now, I discussed in the first video how beautiful Jada Pinkett Smith is, but I warned you to look a little closer when you see beauty. We always need to step back in the age of Aquarius and look beyond the surface. This debacle that just occurred in the marriage that was public and made international news, she tried to manipulate the situation where she literally steals the stage of her husband for over 30 years when he was being acknowledged by his peers in the academy for the work that he's done for 3.5 decades. And she steals the stage. And then in a very superficial way tries to manipulate the issue and make it about a surface level health concern. Goes way deeper than skin and alopecia. This has been going on for her life of 50 years. And the collateral damage and train wreck are the destruction of the identity and personality of this person as she evolved into what we know now, and very covered by lots of death to relationships via the communication she uses and manipulates and wields. She, as I explained in the first video, tries to euphemistically redefine marriage and minimized adultery. A healthy, normal human being that gets into a marital infidelity comes to Jesus and says, I'm an adulterer. Can you forgive me? And then they do whatever they can to save the marriage, but not in this case. In the manipulation and twisting of words, she blames him, justifies herself, and calls a relationship with her son's best friend someone that they took into their home that she manipulated and used for her own pleasure in a scandalous, indecent way to a young boy that was young enough to be her own son, and then flaunted that affair in her husband's face, and then flaunted that affair in a national broadcast. Redefining is a manipulation. Marital bonds are sacred, especially when God gives children. And what we see as a result of this 30-year destruction has fractured her husband, and she steals the stage when he should have all the light, all the glory, and recognition. It doesn't excuse what he did, but we have to look beyond that moment and behind it and dig deeper into the whys. So if you're new, this is the first time you're seeing this video, I encourage you to go check out those other videos where I explain the energy of Black Moon Lilith. She is identified and brought to light in the Talmud, in the book of Hebrew, and talking about this kind of energy. In space, she's a black moon, not the white moon. The white moon brings fertility and fecundity to earth, land, and her people. She is the full womb of a baby within a mother's body. She is a creation symbol, the white moon. The black moon is not. It's empty. It's devoid of feelings, and like psychopathy, it's unable. Psychopaths don't feel you. And while she's got two eyes, and she could see her husband blubbering, sputtering, spitting, getting all just coming undone in front of the cameras when it's supposed to be his glory moment. She could see that, but they don't feel that. And because she's got a grand air trine that involves malefic planets and signatures of a very hot, cold, horrible Mars. I mean, this woman is either frigid and so ice cold, she'd burn you like liquid nitrogen if you tried to touch her then, or she's hot in pursuit of whatever she wants. This is how her Lilith behaves and has behaved for her life. You see, her Lilith is in Libra, and that's sucking the life out of marriages. That's killing with words. That's taking another marriage from someone. And she did. She was a mistress of Will Smith and was the counterpart in the destruction of his marriage ultimately, where a little boy lost a daddy and a wife lost a husband. Her Lilith is tragic. It kills relationships. And I mean her business relationships, and I mean for all of us to see her marriage. Lilith wants to be on top. Her ego is so big and so selfish and so insatiable that she'll destroy any man that she's involved with. I talked about her affair with this young rapper, Augustina, and I apologize for not remembering his name yesterday. I was very tired. Made that first video after lots of work, and you can even see the heaviness in my eyes, and I'm sorry. I also called Kylie Kardashian when she's indeed a Jenner, and I apologize for that too, because I find her a very sweet, soft energy, like I do her best friend Jordan. And Jordan sat on this, in front of this serpent of a female. So did Gwyneth Paltrow and many others, as Jada Pinkett makes her own platform and stage in her hungry desire to justify, because it's always about a war and it's always about a problem, and she portrays herself the psychotherapist when she indeed needs one. So Black Moon Lilith, who is she? She's greedy, she's manipulative, she's cunning, she's selfish, she's empty, she's devoid of feelings, just like psychopathy is. Anybody with any form of psychopathy, whether it's covert or overt, she's calculating. To recap, she wants what you have. And in the case where she's in Libra, it's going to be your marriage, your house, your position, your role, your place, because she's a thief. And she gets what she wants. In Jada Pinkett Smith's chart, I explained yesterday that there are these overt colors of death. Her sun and Pluto, the death of an identity or destruction of an identity, an annihilation of what should be light, bright, sunny, and how we express ourselves. But she has a sun conjunct Pluto. Mars in her chart is pulling the energy of all of her other planets, and it's in the third house of communication, showing us that's where her sword, her guns, her pistols, and her weapons are, and it's in communication. And I'm not sure if she has brothers or sisters, but there would not be a relationship. She would fight them to the bitter end and to death. To death is how this Lilith is going. This whole lifetime is going to be tainted and poisoned. And anybody within the perimeter of her space at work or in her home will suffer the collateral damage of this insatiable ego. To recap, her Lilith is right between Venus, her beautiful Venus in Libra that should be glorious, and that is the surface. We get that. That's the first thing we see. Wow, she's very pretty. I'm not a man. I'm never going to be a man. I'm also not attracted to females sexually, so I can only explain by my education and studies in astrology what that feels like, but she chooses men that are weaker. And she chooses men that are more emotional than she is because she doesn't have that ability. She thinks her feelings. And there are a lot of people, if you have predominant air signs, that have a really hard time getting in touch with feelings or getting in touch with that empathetic gold that helps us have our most intimate relationships. It is within the compassion of emotionality that we can be intimate with others and vulnerable enough to have very deep, satisfying, close relationships. She has no water planets. She doesn't have that ability. And that can be part of the destruction of her identity as she grew up, without support, without morality, without instruction, religious. There can be so many reasons. It can be that early adaptation and identity formation in gang-related powers. And she did. She admittedly says she sold drugs, she used drugs. She liked that gangster, and she still has that. If you look underneath and behind and between, she still thinks she is. And then she would taunt her relationship with the beautiful Tupac. And again, external beauty. Oh my gosh. Both she and he have incredible beauty. But go deeper. Are you beautiful when you use other people, when you humiliate them, destroy them? No, absolutely not. That's Black Moon Lilith's energy. And she wants whatever you have, and she's going to get whatever she wants. And in the case of Jada Pinkett Smith, I told you yesterday, she has a fierce determination. But you'll get burned if you touch this ice-cold bitterness when she's done with you. The Black Moon Lilith damages and destroys marital commitments, business arrangements, and annihilates eventually her so-called partners. She's devoid of feeling in her identity, and she needs to fill that by identifying that what you have is what is fame, what you have is the ultimate role in her casting endeavors and business endeavors. She wants your glory, your happiness, your husband. And she, like I said, think about what she did that day. And if you're interested in psychology, if you're beginning your studies in a community college or a college in the fields of psychology, if you want to become an astrologer, I'm a teacher. And you can go to my website, 3 Keys Astrology, to see all the services that I offer. The school is Astrology by the Stars, and in 40 weeks, you can absolutely do this kind of analysis that I do. That's what I teach. Get on board. We're starting a new group at the end of this month. So for 3.5 decades, she's been involved. And I was saying yesterday when the video cut off, and I'm sorry, but it ended up being an okay thing for the part 2. The attraction that she had for Augustustina, now if this would have been a healthy, wholesome, same age relationship or appropriate age relationship, if we could roll back the hands of time and go back to see their initial meeting. And let's pretend that she at the same time meets Will Smith and Augustina. The truth is, the attraction, because both men have deep emotionality and potential, and we see this in the expression. I was saying yesterday, Will Smith's movies move us to tears. I mean, we fell in love with him because of what he did, and he evokes in us a wealth of feeling. We cry with him. We feel him. That's why he deserved this award after 30 years of working his craft, of refining his art, and all the light and all the glory should have been on him. But in a very Sun-Pluto way, the sucking void, succubus energy of her black moon Lilith and Sun conjunct Pluto outshined and covered in dark dirt and the ugliness of what's going on in the inner workings of their marriage and their family was on stage for all to see. And that's so gosh dang ugly. The Mars in her chart, that hot, cold ice, liquid nitrogen, and burning fire scalds and sears and burns deep hearts of the people she loves. Her own children have identity issues and are lost and are trying to find their way in the dark and are destroyed because the two people that they came from that are supposed to guide and mold them are crumbling in this horrific way. Make no mistake, her arrogance is being punished. It started in November last year. And the fate and finger of fate was pointing right at this woman, Jada Pinkett Smith. You cannot live your life stealing from others and destroying others and have a happy ending. That's not how God makes things. That's not how God works. The rewards of the garden of your life come in your final years. And if you've done a good job in the garden of your life, you raise healthy, happy people that are well adjusted, capable of being good friends, good lovers, good mates, good workmates, and these accomplishments that are collaborative. Because make no mistake, life is about relationships. Astrology is primarily about relationships. And so we're seeing this final destruction on stage. Pluto can act like an atomic bomb. And Sun and Pluto, the Sun, actors, the majority of that, you'll see a lot of sunny Leo energy in the most acclaimed actors. Why? Because Leo's heart-centered. Acting is a creative endeavor. It's building up this wonderful imaginative world and can transform and mimic and mirror reality of all of our lives. That's why we love the movies. That's why we love reality TV. That's why we love astrology broadcasts. This is about real life stuff. And I'm going to give a shout out to, okay, let me see if I can say it right. Jesus Enrique, oh my gosh, shame on me. Jesus Enrique Rosas. He is one of my favorite body language experts, and I've linked his videos so that you can go see. He's so charismatic and smart and enjoyable. The male counterpart of what I try to do, because I can never be a man. I look up to him and I love his spicy Latino accent. If you like my channel, you're definitely going to like his channel. So go see the body language guy. He calls us his body language buddies in his nice Spanish accent that makes me so happy. I could just see him twirling on stage and dancing like a bolero with a red cape. He just, he's got some kind of Zorro vibe that I totally love. So that on a different subject, please go see him. And I'll recommend other body language experts that I love, because it's an integral part of analyzing and seeing and fleshing out the person in the wheel of the chart, for sure. And I teach my students how to do that. So in conclusion, I think you've gotten to see the energy of Black Moon Lilith and its destruction, and how it can rob an identity information and how it can make us suffer in families and relationships for the rest of our lives, how it can turn friends into enemies. And this energy is horrible. Her black moon Lilith is in Libra, and it's conjunct her beautiful Venus that should, but it's stealing all the love and the beauty that is within. And it's stealing. If black moon Lilith weren't there, she might have a chance, but she still has a lot of, the fate of her lifetime speaks a lot about learning and having very hard lessons when it comes to how she relates to others, including her own children that have suffered this collateral damage and this train wreck of a lifetime that's going to contaminate and poison their own marriages and their own relationships. We are the examples of our families growing up. The nurture-nature paradox is alive and well in all of our families. So in conclusion, as I said, to repeat, last November, the finger of fate came and singled out Miss Jada Pinkett Smith. And in her household, and anyone within her workspace would also get poisoned by the energy that is Black Moon Lilith. As I said in the first part of the video, endings, and the death of the most intimate relationships would be the story of her life. And instead of growing a bountiful, beautiful garden that flowers and reseeds and comes back each year more full, more abundant, more lush, more beautiful in her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, because that's what happens when we grow nice, healthy families. And that bounty and that lush foliage and flowering continues generation after generation after generation. Instead, the garden of Jada Pinkett Smith life that we're going to see for the next 2 years, because Lilith just began in Cancer today. And that squares her Lilith. We're going to watch for the next 2 years where the fated nodes for the whole world are. We're going to watch this garden that she has turn into a sinister graveyard filled with nettles and brambles and barbed wire. And it's going to rip apart the destruction that she's caused. She, on April 8th, got conservatorship of Will Smith. So not only did she strip him in the glorious moment that he deserved to be shined upon and looked upon, adored and applauded for this body of work that has encompassed every dream he ever had. Like I was saying, in a Leo way, there are more actors, Leo, than any other sign. And it's the sun. It's the sun shining on and recreating identity. That's what actors do. They learn the Stanislavski method and all this mythology so that they can portray for you. And we see these people literally transform before our eyes with the creative arts of Venus and makeup and hair and dress. And this, we are never as a people going to get tired of looking at this amazing transformation that is in movie, on stage, and theater. And Leo is ruled by the sun. And that shining light on this, on identity, and the formation of identity and the stories of our identity are what are the movies and everything that we love to go see on stage. We can even see this in our musicians in some form. Another fascinating breed of people who are gifted. God poured all kinds of magic into their souls to be able to transport us to heaven in their lyrics, in the music, in the tones and depth of their creations. Will Smith deserved this light. He is filled with emotional depth. He's not a narcissist, but he got manipulated and controlled by the energy of Black Moon Lilith and the seduction that was Jada Smith. It's no different than a snake in its tantalizing eyes, pulling you in and taking over your mind and your body and your soul when there's Black Moon Lilith and lots of Pluto, scorpionic, sucking you down into the depths of hells because of your own needs and your own vulnerability. That's the counterpart of Lilith. That's what she does when she destroys other people. So again, in my opinion, we're going to see in the next 2 years the garden of her life looking very much like a graveyard that's been abandoned, that reflects the barbed wire heart of an empty and black heart, black moon Lilith energy that lives in her, and especially she uses it in the words. She kills with words. Black moon Lilith that squares black moon Lilith is, you can imagine a boxing ring with two opponents. It's Lilith on Lilith, man. And again, it's death. Somebody's going to die over this. In this case, a family. In this case, careers. In this case, very hurt and broken children, husbands. But not Lilith. If you're incapable of feeling, incapable of apologizing, incapable of realizing who you are and facing and destroying your own ego and selfish ways, and that can only be done through the help of therapy. And in a case where you've lived 50 years wielding your power and being this empty vortex of greed and cunning, it's gonna take the rest of her life in psychotherapy, and an exceptional psychotherapist to help wash clean all the damage that she's done. And so I'm going to tell you at the end of this video, just watch and see. Just watch and see what happens in the lives of the people she loves most and has lived with. Just watch and see. And then imagine this video, hopefully if you're living under the thumb of a narcissist, or being corralled and roped into whatever they want to do, never considering what you want to do, never hearing you, never listening to you, never feeling your heart, your vulnerability, yours, never acknowledging your tears, being completely walled up and into their own issues and their own agendas, never to see your tears, never to see you breaking down along the way. Because what we saw on stage didn't happen in a minute. It didn't happen in that moment that we saw. That had been building up and building up and building up and exploded in front of all of our eyes for the whole world to see internationally. That's not what you want people to see about your family. It's not what you want to be remembered for. That's not. So come and get your Black Moon Lilith readings. I only offer them on Astrological's website. I do them in couples if you want to heal and begin. But remember, I can only bring you to a realization and understanding through Astrologic. And I care a lot. So I can bring you there. And then I have to hand off the baton for you to go find in a lighted torch a good psychotherapist to help you dig that up and dig that out, and then learn how to be loving and caring and emotionally intelligent, be able to listen, to be able to feel, be able to care, be able to get down on your knees in humility and say the words, I know I hurt you. I know this is going to take time. I'm sorry. I lied. I cheated. I stole from you. Can you forgive me? Can we salvage and save this relationship? Our marriage means a lot to me. And that's the kind of healing this family is going to need. But until then, we will see if she doesn't get help. If she's going to stay in the power, control, and domination of worrying about protecting the money that he's acquired and the property that they have. Because that's what the conservatorship's doing. It's taking all his power away and saying he's not capable of handling the finances and the banking. And then she gets it in a dirty, cunning, and legal manipulation of everything he's ever worked for. So knock him down and break him down is the game she does. That's what Black Moon Lilith does in marriages and to the partner. Business or professional or personal. And then the bitter end hanging on in emptiness and devoid of feelings. Now I'm going to take control of our finances and the money because you're a mess. You're destroyed. The whole world saw that you possibly can't make reasonable, rational decisions. And I pray, like I said, Black Moon Lilith on Black Moon Lilith, just watch. Just watch and see what happens in this conservatorship by the greed of now lawyers that have that same sucking energy to take everything you built, because that's the glory they get in divorce. That's what, if you can't work your own problems out and handle your own Black Moon Lilith issues at the end of your marriage, now you're sharing with a legal entity who's going to take the majority of what you've worked for and then break your children apart and separate them in these disjointed relationships. Before I leave you, I think that if you like this video, oh gosh, please, I forgot to say, will you please subscribe to my channel and share it with people? I'm older, and it took me a long time to learn the teeny weeny tiny bit that I know about technology. My life took a fated change, and I lost 16 years of being in the world and functioning in it as it was, greatly changing. And so I'm going to ask you to please click that notification button, share my videos, send people to me that you think that I could help in my analysis and my astrology. I'm an advanced intuitive astrologer, and I get a lot of hits, and I've read for over 7,000 people so far that'll verify what I'm telling you. I like you in this talk that I gave you today to see life, because Black Moon Lilith is death. It's a death of families, relationships, creation. And in these examples I've given today of these very public scene, we've all seen this, as if it were some movie of their lives in these little, snapshots of this film of this family, if you will. And I would like you to start, because of the energy that we have right now in my birthday month, Taurus, coming up. We Taurians love nature. That's probably why I brought the garden theme into this, because the garden theme in the Bible is indeed about creation. So where you have Black Moon Lilith is what I analyze and we talk about. And we've seen in this case that it's cardinal energy. It's very active. And in her life, I told you she's got this really dangerous T-square that it's part of her identity with the Sun and Pluto, which is, it's hell. It's hell in becoming, and it's hell in trying to express my creative self, and it's hell overshadowing and in a vampire's way, sucking out the bright light that this little girl should have been. God made her so pretty, but she had lessons to learn for whatever reasons God gives us in our fated moments. And she's got some come to Jesus meetings coming up, but I don't think she's going to take them. I think she's going to stay in the boxing ring of fighting her Lilith, because Lilith square Lilith, this is an issue for all Libras, Arians, Cancerians, and Capricornians. So if you're not willing to face your ugly ego, your selfish ways, your inability because you're in too big of a hurry to go do your own thing instead of taking a look and being thankful for the family God gave you, or trying to work out for the rest of this lifetime while how things fell apart, disconnected, and are broken. If you're not an adult, if you're not adult enough, if you're not moral enough, if you're not holy enough to do that, then you'll be acting like two Liliths that are pulling each other's hair out and punching each other's teeth out and down on the floor and in the mud for everybody to see just how ugly you can get and be. Because that's going to be a theme for the whole wide world starting today. And it's going to be in our most intimate relationships. You see, this is on the axis of the main bones of the chart. In astrology, we teach you how very important 1 and 7 and 4 and 10 are. They're literally the cross you have to bear in this lifetime. It doesn't go away. It stays for your lifetime. And that is the formation of identity in relationship to other people. And that is your home life, your roots, your legacy, and in honoring all the ancestors, because you, go look in the mirror, you are an example of all of those people. You are the grandmothers and grandfathers for all of eternity at the beginning of your tribe and creation. And how you behave in relationships to others is going to be seen on your the highest point of your chart in the 10th house for all the world to see. That's where your reputation is. Do you want to be known as a rebel, as an abuser, as violent, as a runaway, as somebody that doesn't honor their family, as somebody that destroys their own mothers and fathers, that destroys their own children? Is that who you want to be? Is that your destiny? Is that your legacy? So think about a garden from this moment on and say, I'm going to plant healthy seeds. Every year my garden's going to flower and get bigger. To actually physically go make a garden and buy a piece of land and then do that physically is going to complement the growth of your identity. You see, a lot of we women that have birthed children or never had children start at age 40 to 50 to really get into Mother Earth. You see, we get that energy of fertility from her, and we get to grow something like we got to grow and hold life in our wombs, and then nurture, cuddle, comfort, and raise our babies. We get to do that with flowers and vegetables, and Mother Earth. Earth Day is coming up, and it's a beautiful time of the year. Go see my forecasts. I give you weekly forecasts. In the summer, I back off because I want you to be outside playing in Mother Earth and not sitting in front of a virtual screen. But I just encourage you, just watch and just say, what am I growing in my garden? Is it nettles and brambles and grave-like? Is it overrun with jealous ivy? Is it sharp and pointed with holly that is pretty and makes you get closer by her red berries, and then she slices your skin? Is it nettles that itch and scratch? Does it have some poison ivy in it, like Black Moon Lilith would sure grow? Because it's not comfortable to be around Black Moon Lilith. We've all had jobs where we love our work, we paid for big educations to go be able to do these jobs, and then a Black Moon Lilith will be at our workplace. And she sucks the life and energy out of the room. And every time she walks in the room, everybody's on edge. And she's constantly got you on a roller coaster because she's so evil. We've all experienced this kind of energy. It can be a nasty teacher in a classroom putting you down and telling you you'll never amount to anything. And those emotional scars live forever. It can be in a father that's a Black Moon Lilith energy, because men can have this energy too. It's only referred to as a feminine energy because it's receptive and it pulls you in. Masculine energy is outgoing. And so her energy sucks you in and then she throws you away like a tornado would and destroy everything that you've ever worked for. But you guys take care. Thank you so much for joining me. I love my work. I hope you'll share this valid work and go see Jesus Enrique Rosas, the body language buddy guy, because I love him, and you will too. He's very entertaining, and he, like me, is interested in Black Moon Lilith, even though he may not know it, because he's not an astrologer. But all body language people, psychotherapists, psychologists, forensic scientists, forensic criminologists, are all interested in Black Moon Lilith energy because it's criminal. Okay, you guys, take care. Have a very happy Easter. I hope you like these juicy topics, and please comment below and let me know who else you would like me to analyze, because I'm open to it. I'm also going to start giving away readings. So reach out to me at ducky@3keysastrology.com and tell me about somebody that you think really needs a reading, that we could really help, somebody that you love that might be living with a narcissist or involved in having abusive fathers and mothers, and never hearing their children, never listening to them, never putting them first, and living these all about me lives in this selfie generation. So you guys take care. I just love you, and I love this work. And thank you so much for the wonderful things you say to me and the appreciation that you give me for this hard work that I really have to keep my own vitamins up and stamina up to be able to do this. So thank you. Take care. And I hope you have a very happy Easter. I hope you keep building light within yourself so that you share it, because remember, energy is contagious, and you have all the power in your heart and soul to beam out healing, healthy growth for everybody you meet, giving support in your words and your thoughts and your actions. And that gives you the vulnerability to say, I'm nothing without you, and I need you, and I want you, and I want to be better for you, and I want to build you up, and I want to make you strong, and I want our bonds to be unbreakable. Our family is everything to me, and that each and every member gets to be healthy and whole and go take their sunshine out in the world is what that's all about. Bye for now. See you soon. Stay tuned and let me know who else you want me to talk about. I've got a triple Black Moon Lilith series coming up and next, so stay tuned for that. This is going to be about 3 men this time, and you know them, you know of them, and we're going to go see what Black Moon Lilith has done in their lives. Take care. Bye.